Hello everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. 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 Hello everyone. Good evening. Is the screen visible to everyone?
Yes, sir. So screen is visible and also
Yes.
your voice is coming.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Atsina, what about you? Is it is it visible?
Yes, sir. It's so what's your firewall policy? We're seeing this slide.
Okay. Okay. Great. Okay. Okay.
Yes, it's visible.
Yes. Okay, guys. So let's start. Right. So what is the firewall policy and why do we use it? We will learn it today. Okay. So can anyone? What is a firewall policy?
We use
Sir,
it for define the rules in the firewall for which state, which action
Okay.
in the firewall.
Okay. Okay.
Basically,
Anyone
it's
else?
used for allowing like authorized traffic.
Okay. Right. Yes. Okay. So a firewall is basically a set of rules that determine what traffic is allowed. For example, uh, only authorized traffic is allowed and unauthorized traffic is blocked, right? Right, guys?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. 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 So basically, what happens is firewalls act as a barrier between a trusted network and an untrusted network, and they help protect your network from unauthorized access and potential security threats. As firewalls, they do what they do is they scan through all the source IP, destination IP, ports, and all that stuff that we mentioned in our policy, right? So let's discuss
Yeah.
some key points about firewall policies. So first of all, here comes the major point as rules. Firewall policies consist of rules that defines the criteria, that defines the criteria for which we will allow or either block the traffic, right? Each rule typically includes information such as source IP, destination IP, ports, protocols, actions. Over here in rules, we can also specify whether to block facebook.com, for any particular group of users or not, right? We can also specify whether to give them access to the data center or not, right? If there is an IT person who needs the access to security devices or anything else, then it should be allowed it. And if a marketing guy does the same, he needs to be blocked by taking the access. With the help of rules, we can do all these things, right? So, as you all know, the rules in any firewall, such as Palo Alto, or you can take Cisco ASA, the approach to follow the rules is top down, right? From top to bottom. First rule will be checked first and the last will be last, right? If the first rule defines that Instagram should be allowed, but the third rule defines that Instagram should be denied, what the firewall will do is when a user tries to access the Instagram, it will go go through the policies and it will check that for first of all what he will do is he will first go through the first set of rules. So on the first set of rule we have mentioned that Instagram is accepted, right? So what he will do is he will not check any other policies bet below that one, and he will give access to Instagram, right? So here, if we have to block the Instagram for that user, we have to change the priority of the two. Okay, right? So the next key point over here is implicit deny. Does anyone know about this? Can anyone?
It's like completely denying all the traffic if any rule is not defined.
Yes, yes, right. So what happens over here is if we have mentioned set of rules that A can go to B, B can go to A, and C can go to D. Over here, the first rule is that I have to reach A to D, right? Wait, let me access. Over here, if we take, let's go with, and if we take A, our first set of rule is A to D, right? Second is B to A. Third is C to D. Now, and the last one is implicit deny. Okay, this one is implicit deny. So what we have to do over here is we need to reach from A to C. So what our firewall policy rule will do is he will go through the first rule, which is A to B, which is not matching. It will go from 2. This will also not match, right? It will go to the third one. This will also not match. After checking all the list of policies, what he will do is he will come to the end, which is our implicit deny, right? Right, guys? Any doubts
Yes.
still here?
Yes, sir. Understand.
Okay, okay. Let's move forward. As we discussed, order of rules, right? Firewall's rules are processed in a top-down manner, meaning that the order of rules is important. When a packet enters the firewall, it is checked against each rule sequentially under a matching rule is until a matching rule is found. Once a match is found, the corresponding action is taken and further processing stops. Okay, so let's understand stateful inspection. So nowadays, many modern firewalls are using stateful, as you all know, right? Inspection, stateful inspection to track the device state of active connections. So what that does is they maintain a session table for all the sessions going happening on the firewall. This allows the firewall to make more informed decisions, right? Based on the context of the traffic flow, such as allowing response packets for outgoing connections. Okay, so stateful inspection, what basically happens is with the help of state table, they maintain all the tracks of the sessions and the connections for fast and for the fast replies and uh, we can say processing, right? So let's move to our next point, logging and monitoring. So when we set some rules, right, on firewall, so when they are processed, they the firewall what the firewall does is it keeps log, right? Firewall policies often include logging capabilities to record information about the traffic that is allowed or blocked, right? How can we find that if the rule, if the policy we have created are working properly or not? We can check logging and monitoring option in Fortinet firewall so that we will get all the logs of the sessions that has processed by the firewall, right? Monitoring these logs can help administrator identify potential security incidents or troubleshoot network issues. Let's come to our next point, which is application awareness. Application awareness. Some advanced firewalls offer application-aware filtering, which basically works on the application layer, right? Which can inspect traffic at the application layer to enforce policies based on specific applications or services, right? So on application level, there are two types of policies that we can use. Either we can use not talking about policies. Uh, in application layer, we can use uh, to protect application layer, we can use firewalls or we can use host firewalls such as our antiviruses, etc. Right? So, as we all know that it's really important to regularly review and update firewall policies to ensure they align with the organization's security requirement and network changes. Right? So, let's understand working of firewall with an example. Okay, there was a kingdom. For example, we can take kingdom, okay, named as Fortigate, and let's take a castle named Firewall, which was guarded by a gatekeeper named as Finn, okay, which makes uh, Finn has magical powers to permit determining whom to permit and whom to deny, right? So, when there a traveler arrives, she possesses a royal kingdom seal. The the Finn The guard keeper Finn was set to allow in her policy, as mentioned in the policy table. Okay, but when the hackers start testing the network, the gates, what the Finn does is he deny the hackers swiftly. Okay, So what he does is he swiftly deny them, and he also updates the policies so that he can guard the castle in coming future, right? So what the gatekeeper does over here is he has some policies mentioned in his table, and he also does is update the policies time to time so that there are no threats with it, right? In firewalls, sometimes when a packet receives which has some malware or you can say worms, right? So what the firewall does is it has a database which have all the signatures of the viruses that he has been gone through in the past, right? So there is what he does is he checks for the signatures in the database, and if there is no signature, what he does is he makes a new entry for the signature so that when in future if he again gets the viruses, he can protect our LAN area from that virus, right?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
The screen seems to be stuck. Are you changing to
No,
slide number
I'm
17?
saying no. I'm saying
Okay,
only. Okay, I will change it
thanks.
now.
So you are okay. You are on screen page number 16, I
Yes,
think.
yes.
Okay, sure.
I'm saying it. It's not in the slide. Okay.
Okay, sir, sure.
Okay. So we will do our practical tomorrow for Fortinet firewall policies and NAT. So what we will do today is we will complete our Fortinet. We have completed our firewall policy. Now we will start with our NAT, right? We will know what are the NAT policy, what is NAT and their types, right? And after that, someone has asked me to share this. Someone has shared. Someone is sharing the screen to solve the E1G issue. So I will be looking forward to it after the session. Okay.
Yes, sir. MI wants to share my screen.
Okay. We'll do it after the session. Okay. So what is
Okay.
NAT? What is NAT, guys?
It's basically like conversion of private IP to public IP.
Right. And
IP to public IP.
okay. Anyone else?
Yes, sir, same. It's based on your private LAN environment to unwind IPs on the
Okay.
basis of your host.
Okay. Oh. So basically, what network address translation is that it is a process to convert one address to multiple address or multiple to one, right? So it is basically a translation to secure our private network from our public network. Okay. So what happens in NAT is that if we don't want to expose our private addresses, what we do is we deploy a NAT policy on the firewall, and when the firewall from the internal interface, what the firewall does is it changes the IP address we have assigned in a dynamic IP pool. We create a pool for network address translation on our firewall. So what he will do is if 10.1.1.1 is going outside, he will change it to our pool that we have defined on the firewall, right? So for example, our internal IP address is 192.168.1.1, and we have given the IP pool from 10.1.1.1 to 10.1.1.10. So what NAT will do is it will translate the IP address to whichever IP address is available in the pool, right? So what basically inside local address is? An IP address that is assigned to a host on the inside local network. The address is probably not an IP address assigned by the service provider. That is, these are private IP addresses. This is the inside host seen from the inside network, right? Private IP addresses can be used multiple places, right? Same. In my organization, it can be 192.168.1.1. In your organization, it can also be same. But when we use when we go through internet, we don't have any conflict issue. It's because of our NAT protocols, right? NAT address translation, right, guys?
Yes.
Due to shortage of IP version 4, we need NAT.
Your voice is echoing. Can you please repeat
Due
again?
to shortage of IP version 4, we need NATing.
Yes, right. As you all know that our IPv4 addresses is came to an end, which is ended actually. That's why organizations has came with the IPv6 IP addressing, which is unlimited. We can say like this, but in near future, as all our devices are getting connected to Wi-Fi or a network, you can say, right? There are every devices in our household are having unique IP addresses, such as our washing machine, fridge, right? Our TV, etc. So, what is outside local address? This is the actual IP address of the destination host in the local network after translation. So, what outside local address is that our private address is here translated to a public address, right? So, what is an outside global address? This is the host as seen from the outside network. So, in inside networks, we were seeing the host as 192.168.1.1, but in outside network, the host can be seen as 10.1.1.1, right? After the net translation is done. So, let's understand types of nets. Okay. So, there are basically three types of net: static NAT, dynamic NAT, and port address translation, right? PAT. So, can anyone start with static NAT?
It's one-to-one mapping. Like if you have the 100 PC in a LAN, you need 100 addresses for that netting.
Okay, right. Anyone else? Okay, so what happens over here is in static NAT, in this, a single unregistered private IP address is mapped with a legal registered IP address. That is one-to-one mapping between local and global address, right? This is generally used for web hosting. They are not used in organizations as there are many devices which will need access. And to provide internet access, a public IP address is needed. Suppose in our organization, we have more than 3000 devices, right? So if we use source NAT, if we use static NAT over here, what will happen is for every single device, we have to purchase a single private address, right? So for 3000 devices, we have to purchase different 3000 IP addresses, which will be very costly for our organization. That's why static NAT is only used where on web hosting sites, right? So let's talk about dynamic NAT. Anyone?
I think we use DHCP in the dynamic NAT.
Yes. We create a pool, DHCP pool for NAT, right? As I mentioned earlier, we create a pool on FortiGate firewall when we do the NAT policy, right? In this type of NAT, what we do is we have to translate our public IP addresses to private IP addresses. So private IP addresses to public IP addresses. So what we will do is we will create a pool of IP addresses which are, like, we can say from 10.1.1.1 to 10.1.1.0 to 10.1.1.100. So we have given 100 IP addresses. So what will happen over here is when anybody wants to go through the internet, what he will do is he will take an IP address from that pool and go over the internet, serve the browser, it, serve the browser, and will come back, right? So what will happen over here is we uh, we can say if we had 100 IP addresses, so whenever a new connection is made, whatever the IP is free in the pool will be assigned to the person who needs to visit the internet, right? Once the person comes back from the internet to its private IP address, the IP address will be free from the pool and will be available again for the next user. So let's head towards our port address translation. So port address translation. So how does it work is it's basically work on one to many, right? So if we have a single public address and we suppose we have 3000 devices and all of them has to go to the internet, but what our organization did is purchased just a single public IP address, right? So what we will do over here is we will use port address translation. For every single IP address, it will use different port number to go through the internet, right? So there are two more types of NAT, that are source NAT and destination NAT. Can anyone tell me about source NAT and where do we use it?
Sir, I have one question on previous slide regarding the port address translation of a PAT.
Okay.
In our organization, we have a multiple servers, web hosting and others, which is working on a specific ports like
Yes.
3010 or 5010.
Yes.
So we want to translation this. We are using as a PAT. I'm right.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Can you tell me the question again, please?
Yes. Static NAT.
Not port addresses.
Sir, no. Regarding the static NAT, no, sir. I am. My
No,
question
I
is
didn't hear it
regarding the
properly. That's
port
why I'm
address
asking
list.
you again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Static NAT. I have already listened. You are on this.
No, what I was saying is when you asked me about port address translation, your voice was a bit breaking. That's why I was asking you to repeat the question again about port address translation, the question you asked me.
Yes. My question is, sometime we are using some searches regarding the based on the ports. So
Yes.
our teammate asked me, please map this port on the recording this IP. So we
Yes.
use this port address translation for recording.
Yes. You
So
can
I
use.
am clearing this doubt.
Yes. You can use port address translation for that. Right?
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
So, anyone about source NAT?
Yeah, when the traffic is going from LAN to WAN, so we need a source NAT.
Yes, right. So, as the name suggests,
When we are changing the source address, when we are
yes,
translating the source address, we are doing source NAT.
okay, okay. So, here, SourceNet, as name suggests, it is a technique that translates source IP addresses generally when connecting from private IP address to public IP addresses, right? It maps source client IP address in a request to a translation defined on BGP IP device. It is most common form of NAT that is used when internal host needs to initiate session to an external host or public host. Right? So what we do over here is, for example, the translation is happening over here on the source side, which is LAN side. So it will, for example, if we take an address like 192.168.1.1, right? When we translate this address to 10.1.1.1, it will go to the BGP through the BGP as 10.1.1.1. When it comes back, what it will do is it will again translate on the source side, right? It will basically what happened will over here is the translation is having only on source side, not on the destination side. Okay. And in DNAT, it's vice versa. What happens over here is when it goes to the incoming port of the firewall in DNAT, destination network address and address translation, what happens is the IP address is 192.168.1.1 when it's going on internal port of the firewall. But when it's going through another port of the firewall to the BGP IP, what it will does is it will do the translation over the external port, right? So as we can see, as the name suggests, it is a technique that translates destination IP address generally when connecting from public IP address to private IP address. It is generally used to redirect packets destined for specific IP address or specific ports on IP address on one host simply to a different address, mostly on different hosts, right? So let's look at the advantages of network address translation. NAT conserves legally registered IP addresses, right? So basically what happens over here is there are some registered IP address that we can purchase for doing our network address translations, right? It provides privacy as the private device IP sending and receiving the traffic will be hidden. So what happens over here is basically we are protecting our private IP address from the public IP address from the internet, right? Which will be hidden in case of NAT. NAT also eliminates address renumbering when a network evolves. For example, if your network is evolving, if a marketing guy has a same IP as your device, so what will happen over here is we have been using over here net, right? So when the network translates, the conflict is not happening over there, right? The conflict will not happen over there, even if our private IPs are same. Any more advantages of net, guys?
Sir, we can translate our base using a source net, which is working on a specific ports based in a
Yes,
port address translations, and
yes,
we are also using a DNet, which is coming from outside traffic to our specific ports
yes,
and specific IP
sensitive ports. Yes, right,
in our web server environments in our software house using these techniques,
right.
and also on AWS and Azure using these techniques, SNet
Okay,
and DNet mostly.
okay, okay. And here, the most important advantage of NAT is that when we do one to many, right? Many public IP addresses to one public IP address using our port address translation.
Yes, right.
So let's start with our disadvantages of NAT. So translation results in switching path delays. Sometimes it sometimes the packets are delayed, sometimes not every time, right? Certain applications will not function while NAT is enabled. So netting also complicates tunneling protocols such as IPsec. The routers, being a network layer device, should not tamper with port numbers, transport layer, but it has to do because of NAT, right? So what happens is routers does not tamper with our port numbers on transport layer, but it has to be done because of our network address translation protocol, right? Any more disadvantages of NAT?
It slowed down the adoption of IPv6.
Okay. Anyone have any questions?
Hope you got me.
Okay. So yesterday we were doing our practical. We faced the issue that our BGP route was not showing, right?
Yes.
Sure,
Yes.
sir.
Yes. So what I did was, I got into the static routing part of the firewall and just disabled the static routes. So after a few seconds, the BGP route started showing, right? As we forgot to remove the static routes too. Can anyone tell me why that happened?
Because of administrative distance of static
Yes,
route.
right. As the static, as the
Static route
administ
is preferable
yes,
over
yes,
BGP.
yes. Static route is preferable more over BGP, right? Anything else? Any more questions regarding yesterday's lecture or today's?
My question is about policy,
Okay.
define policy. Is it going to be a kind of both way or one single policy?
So no, in FortiGate firewall, which is it is a stateful firewall. Okay, we are not using the stateless we can say FortiGate firewall is a stateful firewall. Okay, so the rules will work on both way, not single way, like stateless does, right? Should I come again?
Yeah, come again.
Okay. So what basically happens is in stateless firewalls, the session table is not maintained, right? So we have to define rule for every single thing. For example, from A to B, we have to define, from B to A, we have to define two rules, right? In first rule, we will define a policy that A to B should be permitted. And in second rule, when the traffic is reversed to the local area network, we have to define another rule from B to A is permitted, right? By default, what stateless firewall does is when a LAN packet is visiting internet, for example, we can say LAN packet is going to WAN, right? The work is done on the WAN side. When the packet is coming again to the LAN side, what the stateless firewall will do is he will deny the packet. So what happens over here is that we have a single rule configured on a stateless firewall that we can go from A to B, right? But in the case of stateful firewall, here what happens is if we define a rule to go from A to B as the packet is on LAN side, it will automatically allow the reverse path, right? You know about TCP connection? SYNC. Hello,
So in
are you there?
stateful firewall, forward and reverse is automatically done, whereas
Yes,
in
yes,
stateless
yes.
stateless
It's
is
not done.
opposite.
Yes, it's
Okay.
opposite. It's not done. Okay, are we good with it?
I know when you are accessing internet, you only need one policy to define, but there are some
No, it was just an
situation
example. I took just an example to understand them what is stateless and stateful firewall. Okay,
What is the difference between this FortiGate and Palo Alto firewall?
both are different companies. Like Cisco has a different set of Cisco had different set of devices. FortiGate have Palo Alto. So basically, what happens in this Palo Alto and FortiGate is FortiGate has all the devices from AP switches to everything. Palo Alto is only focusing on his firewall. Palo Alto has the only fi what Palo Alto does is it only produces firewalls. So his main work is on firewalls, right? That's why it's on number one in the market.
So means suppose my question is from LAN to WAN if we are going. So means we have to define
Yes.
only one way, like only just LAN to WAN policy, or we have from both side we have to make the
No, no, no,
policy.
no. We don't need to do it. Nowadays, only stateful firewalls are used. Stateless is gone.
Okay. So means only one side we have only one policy will inform we will put like LAN to
Yes.
WAN, so it will work as reverse also.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
so
yes. Yes.
will remain
What will happen over here is it maintains the session, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay.
So when there is a session maintained, it will know that it is moving from LAN to WAN and again WAN to LAN, right?
Okay, okay. Means it will
That's how.
record for both session, means going and coming both it will show.
Yes, yes, yes. If you have an
Okay.
active session, what he will do is he will mention it in his session table that this session is
Oh.
active from LAN side to WAN side, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. Thank you.
If what will happen over here is if you are pinging google.com, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your ping will not come. It will say unreachable, which will happen basically in stateless firewall. But when in stateful
Okay.
firewall, if you will ping, you will receive you will receive the packets, right?
Yes,
That
yes.
it is available.
firewall also return
If
traffic
I am
also.
pinging,
Yeah. Just let me finish. The firewalls allows
okay,
certain traffic. So which is we know this knows the this is sent from the LAN to check the
yes,
pinging. It allows the return traffic also.
yes, yes, right. It allows return traffic. Are we clear here?
Yeah,
In
okay.
this
Thank you.
firewall, we have need to allow, we have to add one more policy for the return traffic also.
Yes,
So
yes,
to
right.
overcome that, so stateful firewalls are okay.
Yes, it works on stateful firewall nature, right? We will be cleared about policies when we will do our practical lectures tomorrow. Okay, practical session, right? There we will see that. Okay.
Are you also
Yes.
going to have a class for Palo Alto?
No, I'm not. I'm just for FortiGate. Anything else?
Sir, can you wait, please? And I am share my screen.
Okay. Okay, share your screen. What is the error you are facing on event G? Are you sharing your screen, Sam?
Yes, I am share just a few minutes.
Okay. So until then, next cover this topic also, right? Proxy and flow-based firewalls.
If you learn one firewall, then another firewall it will be easier.
Yes, yes, definitely. Are you working on some firewalls in your office?
Yeah, I used to work in Cisco Meraki, Sonic Wall, and some
Okay,
Palo
Cisco
Alto.
Meraki. Okay,
Yeah.
Palo Alto. So when it comes with, we can say we can give IP address to our port 1, right? In our firewall for GUI access. After every command, we have to click commit in Palo Alto, right? So that it takes the entry.
Right.
Yes.
Sir, so the Zoom says when you share screen, I don't have a chance to share my screen.
Okay. Now try.
Please close your screen and then I share my screen.
Okay. Share your screen. Or do one thing. Do you use Anydex? Okay.
When I
Have you?
download it from that link, then
No, no.
I
Wait. Sam, wait.
yes.
Don't use Pro as it will not work. Use the community edition.
Ah,
Okay. So
Ah.
what you do over here
So
is
I install it and then it says me all the browser it is not open when I enter the
no.
credential.
To use the pro version, you need to have license.
Ah, okay.
That's why it will not work. Okay.
And sir, the all browsers also don't open the WinSCP software. So can you share
You have to download it.
me-
Wait.
What?
You have to download it. I will share you the link on the WhatsApp group. Okay. Or
Okay.
wait a minute. Wait, I will ping you in this only.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Wait. I will paste it in the chat box.
So I must use another version, right? Not Pro version.
No, there is available. Community edition is available right beside the pro version below.
Okay, sir.
Right below the pro version, there is a community edition available. You can install that
Okay.
and it will work fine. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And you have to install the images again after reinstalling the EVNG, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
I stop my screen sharing.
Okay.
Thank you.
So let's end our session over here. Okay. We will start with our practicals tomorrow for network address
Okay.
translation and our FortiGate policies, right?
Okay, sir, and
Sure, sir.
Okay.
don't forget, please share the WinSCP software.
I've shared the link. I've shared the link on the chat, Zoom chat. You can check.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Open it now so that you can't miss it after the session ends. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Bye bye. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Rahul.
Good night.
Good night, sir. Thank you.
Good night.
Good
Welcome.
night, sir.